Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and today we have Regigigas vs Doomsday, two unstoppable forces going at it head to head. Let's see who wins more often than not. Now, this is going to be from pretty much how Doomsday is now, by the way. So, Doomsday is currently the king of the underworld in DC, and he was so powerful, right, that this Doomsday was so powerful that he wrecked Martian Manhunter and was able to beat a Supergirl. Now, you might say, oh, well, yeah, it's casually him beating Supergirl. No. This was a Supergirl who had an armor that was so strong that it was made to be able to go toe-to-toe with all of heaven. Think about that. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. This Doomsday beat a Supergirl that was so strong that basically Supergirl's power was stacked on with a magical artifact, that was made to fight against all of the heavens, including God himself. Yeah, that's some ridiculous power. And Doomsday not only was able to go toe-to-toe, but he was straight up dominating her and a Martian Manhunter who should be relative as well at the same time. It actually took it took kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of took like an outside force to actually help. And here's what happened, right? Martian Manhunter actually communicated with the sinners down in the underworld to basically have hope that they can at least do something against Doomsday, right? However, what they did was make their bodies into an impenetrable wall that Doomsday couldn't break through. However, what we do see at the end of it, when Martian Manhunter and Supergirl are able to leave the underworld, is that Doomsday was able to still crack. As you guys can see, he's still able to chip at that same wall. Crazy, ain't it? It's absolutely ridiculous how powerful the Doomsday is at this moment in time. And keep in mind, this is after Dark Crisis. Now, we will be using Dark Crisis scaling for Doomsday here, as he actually might have been the strongest one during that run. And here's why, right? The Dark Army is weakened to such a point where they're mentally fighting like brutes. Okay? This benefited some. And I would say Doomsday is probably the biggest benefit of it because he's more instinctual, you know? He's more about, getting it done right then and there, but he does it in a brute-like fashion. And he was still able to fight against Superman, fight against Aquaman and Aquawoman, who are relative to each other, and was able to fight against Black Adam during that run, who was absolutely who powered up everybody. He was absolutely just juiced up during that arc. And Doomsday was still able to fight against him, even able to fight against Supergirl and Superboy. So, yeah, Doomsday is still ridiculously strong. It's easily out of Versal. Easily. There's no ifs and buts about it. But let's talk about the rest of it. Easily, his strength, AP, and destructive capabilities out of Versal, right? But what about speed? Doomsday is easily fast enough to tag and react to characters like Superman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. Now, again, I'm not going to use DC's speed chart because I have seen arguments that it's very inaccurate. For example, Shazam being like behind Kid Flash when he's actually outsped Wonder Woman before. You can say, oh, well, people have increased their power. Okay, yeah, I can understand that. But again, we don't really have a clarification if these characters are really where they should be. This could have just been a list just made up by one writer. But then the feats show something different, So again, it's very questionable. But again, each of these characters have shown faster than light to immeasurable to inaccessible speeds, especially Superman and the Flash. Superman was able to blitz the World Forger before he was able to slam his hammer and fully finish the multiverse that was going to replace the new multiverse that was going to replace the old one and was going to be able to trap Perpetua forever. So again, that would still be in Superman's capabilities. Now, yes, the AP feat was a little was a little high because, yes, he was amped by 7 suns. But again, the speed feat would count. All right, it would still count as a speed feat. All right. Now, Doomsday would easily scale to this as it's very just simply simple. Sorry, it's very simple here that he would scale to Superman and Wonder Woman in terms of reaction and combat speed because he's able to grab and tag them when they're trying to blitz him. He's actually outfought Wonder Woman on multiple occasions here. Not in skill, but in just pure like brute force and brute strength. He has actually outfought Wonder Woman a multitude of times, to the point where Wonder Woman has had her arm broken in the middle of a fight with Doomsday. So again, yeah, these guys are, yeah, Doomsday is taking the cake here. Now, Doomsday does have, I'm not sure if he has it now in current comics, but he used to have reactive adaptation, which allowed him to come back stronger than to what killed him previously. And I would say you can't kill him on the same level twice. Not the same way twice, but the same level. Because here's the thing, right? I think people tend to overdo this and say you can't kill Doomsday the same way twice when he's actually been killed the same way multiple times. Superman was able to beat this man to death despite the fact that when he was first made, he was beaten to death and torn apart over and over again. Or how he defeated an energy being in their second encounter, right? Well, guess what? Darkseid killed this man with Omega Beams, and Imperiex, or at least I think an Imperiex probe, or maybe even real Imperiex himself, was still able to kill Doomsday. So Doomsday can die. It just has to be at a much stronger level than what it was before. Now, onto his opponent, the legendary Titan, Regigigas. Regigigas is I would have to say, one of the physically strongest Pokemon in the verse, and has the ability Slow Start, which allows Regigigas to pick up his strength as the fight progresses. So unless he's returned to a Pokeball, or someone has a move that can literally nullify his Slow Start ability, yeah, he's going to get stronger and tougher as the fight progresses. Now, another thing that Regigigas has done over the years is actually put hands on the gods of the Pokemon verse. Now, he's thrashed regular Pokemon with ease, alright? He's thrashed Regirock, Registeel, and Regigigas, which is actually a pretty impressive feat, because each of these guys individually are planet busters. Yes, they are planetary, alright? Planetary, you could actually argue star level, maybe solar system level together. Again, these guys are absolutely ridiculous when it comes to their power, as they're able to contain the forces of Groudon and Kyogre. And as a matter of fact, now that I say that, I'm actually wrong, because I've already given the arguments that both Groudon and Kyogre are universal to higher forces in the Pokemon multiverse. And speaking of which, Regigigas is actually strong enough to manhandle and overpower the likes of Dialga and Palkia in their avatar-like states. What's important about this here is that the avatars of Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina are still fundamentals of the multiverse. They're still, omnipresent, and I would actually say omniscient beings as well. Maybe semi-omniscient, but again, they're omnipresent beings, as they're multiversal constants throughout it. Keep in mind that a Pokemon universe is infinite in size and possesses realms that are beyond, the normal means of space, which each dimension having a different flow of space, time, and reality itself. Being able to destroy the main Pokemon multiverse would even include the concepts of life, death, and light itself, such as the Aura Trio and the Light Tree as well, with Solgaleo being the embodiment of light and darkness, and even destroying imagination itself, which would be Darkrai and Cresselia. Regigigas is able to fight against beings and would also be higher than these beings as well, considering the sheer fact that Tapu Koko is one of the few, actually all the Tapus respectively, which are around the same level with Tapu Koko, should be the strongest one, because he's actually the more, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for, physically adept one, or at least one of the few ones that'll run that fade, are able to fight against Necromaza, Solgaleo, and Lunala like it's absolutely nothing. So again, Regigigas would be around that same level, and due to the cosmic chain or the cosmic hierarchy of Pokemon, he's actually above them and is above the likes of Pokemon like Heatran, and would actually be just behind Groudon in terms of power. But again, due to the feats that these guys have showed, I would actually say Regigigas is physically and is physically and more tougher than the likes of these Pokemon, including the likes of Yveltal, which is the living embodiment of death, and Xerneas, which is the living embodiment of light. Now, let's talk about some of the attacks that Regigigas can use. Other than the slow start ability, he can actually use this and to make his attack stronger. He has Focus Punch, he actually has Hyper Beam, he has Grand Slam, which is actually one of his strongest moves as well, and his typing as well as a normal type, meaning he could actually use a plethora, and I mean a plethora of attacks, because normal types, believe it or not, really don't have a limit to the type of attacks that they can use. They can use fighting type moves, dark type, steel type, every type of move, because they're normal. They don't really have in all honesty, they don't have a typing. And this is perfect for Regigigas because he can use moves like Stone Edge, Earthquake, he could use Focus Punch, Ice Punch, okay? And again, Hyper Beam, Grand Slam. He can even use some of the other moves the Regis can, like Iron Defense, Iron Head, or again, Sandstorm, all that good stuff. So he has a very good plethora of abilities that he could use to overwhelm his opponent. So without further ado, let's begin this matchup here. So this is honestly just one of the, few matches I can actually think of, or at least one of the few matches that just came on the fly. Two bruisers just heading at it or just going at it head to head in a rock'em sock'em type of matchup. However, the question remains, who wins more often than not? Now, Doomsday easily scales, or you could actually say he's physically, now again, remember this, he's physically, meaning he's stronger, and I would actually say a bit more durable than the likes of Superman, a character who can shake the heavens, shatter realities, and etc. However, I would definitely say here that Doomsday is definitely the faster of the two. Definitely faster than Regigigas. Yes, Regigigas has faster than light reaction, being able to react to the literal beings of time and space, okay? And even being able to react and block their attacks, which would be many times faster than light, to immeasurable speeds, okay? But again, Doomsday has just been, I would say he's been out a bit longer, and he has a bit more impressive speed feats for a brute here. I mean, this dude is able to react to Superman, who was literally unleashing everything he had on him. Remember that Superman can even blitz characters like Wonder Woman, who can catch the reverse flash, who can move through time. So again, faster than light, to immeasurable levels of speed, and immeasurable levels of, again, AP and destructive capability. So yeah, at the end of the day, I do think Doomsday is the faster of the two. I definitely think Doomsday is probably going to land more blows than Regigigas. However, Regigigas is definitely just as durable as Doomsday, but I would say physically he is a lot stronger, manhandling beings that I would definitely consider maybe just a bit more powerful than Superman. I definitely think that they're close in physical strength. However, the problem is going to be that slow start ability. And here's why, right? So I do think that during this fight, or at least when the fight starts, these two are going to be relative to each other. However, However, once that slow start ability kicks in, and yeah, Doomsday isn't going to be able to finish off Regigigas before this happens, because again, Regigigas has a bunch of versatile moves to actually keep Doomsday back, using Grand Slam or Earthquake. He can even use things like, Stone Edge to keep Doomsday off of him, or even use, again, Hyper Beam. And these guys don't have the stamina issues like normal Pokemon would have. So again, him using Hyper Beam would, him using Hyper Beam would actually be pretty good here, especially to keep Doomsday back. Now, once that slow start ability kicks in, and then a lot of the physical attacks here are going to hit a lot harder. Now, do I think Regigigas would be able to surpass the strength level Superman, especially with the slow start ability? Yes, because again, Doomsday is not an easy opponent to put down. Doomsday is going to drag that fight on longer and longer, meaning the slow start ability is just going to keep gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining until Regigigas has the full upper hand against Doomsday. This means that Doomsday will probably die to a much stronger attack. Again, he'll be fine against the first level of Hyper Beam, but again, once the slow start ability comes, he's going to get hit with a stronger, and then a stronger one, and then another stronger one. He's going to get hit with a stronger Focus Punch or a stronger Ice Punch. He's going to get hit with these abilities over and over and over again until he drops. Because again, he's getting hit with stronger forms of these attacks over and over again. Now, we could also talk about Doomsday's reactive adaptation and how that would play out to it. But again, I don't really think it would make too much of a difference, and here's why. Again, Doomsday has been killed by the same method, just at a stronger level. This means that during this entire fight, Regigigas will get stronger and stronger and stronger as that slow start ability begins to pick up his strength over and over again. Now, Doomsday, yeah, could adapt to Energy Blast, could probably fly around to avoid them, could... Actually, I don't think the tech side would actually come into play here because they're fighting in a neutral-based environment. But even if it does come into play here, I think Regigigas will just be able to probably destroy it pretty easily. But again, he's going to get hit with these stronger attacks. And at the end of the day, I see Regigigas taking it at least 6 times out of 10. High difficulty. But let me know what you guys think down below. Please comment down below. Like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.